Hello everybody, my name is KingStix. I'm going to be walking you through on how to carry as a jungler in this meta in patch 8.13 with all this scuttle crab nonsense. In this video, I am going to be showing you how to do it on Twitch specifically, but regardless, a lot of this information should carry over onto whatever champion you do play. For maximum jungle pressure and win percent, you really want to be starting on red buff, even if you do have to start with your top laner. In this case, it works out well since I have my bot lane leashing, even though Heimerdinger really didn't do anything. Red buff is really important right now on junglers because without it, you can't gank at level 2 since you won't have a slow. But if you do have red buff, you'll have that potent slow and you'll be able to gank. So right after red buff, I want to go in for a gank because scuttle crab doesn't spawn in until the 2-minute mark. So right after red, it should be around 145. You don't want to just sit there and wait for it. At this point, you could go bot lane and gank. After the gank bot lane, you want to go immediately for the scuttle crab unless you can't fight off the enemy jungler. If the enemy jungler does show up and you can't fight them, then you'll just have to leave. Or you could go mid lane and gank and then get the opposite side scuttle. If you do the bot lane, you're more risking your blue buff from the enemy jungler because if they see gank bot, they'll probably do their blue buff straight into your blue, something like that, or blue red into your blue. In this case, I didn't want to contest Trundle with that bot side scuttle. It's very common for Trundle to start blue with his bot lane, do Gromp, then scuttle, and I couldn't contest him anyways. Plus the mid lane. Kennen could easily push in Trundle since Kennen is range, so he could come and pressure me. So since they had mid priority and I can't 1v1 Trundle anyways, I'd be better off just going mid. Not to mention, Kennen didn't take resolve, so I knew he didn't have bone plating, and I saw when I tabbed that he took Dorn's blade. With all that in mind, he's very squishy. He was pressuring Trundle. It's an easy kill, and I couldn't contest that boss side scuttle anyway. So by going mid, coming to this scuttle, I don't even have to mess with Trundle. This is the best jungle path possible if you are a jungler who can gank at level 2 and you want to avoid the enemy jungler because you don't think you can 1v1 them. The nice thing about getting scuttle crab priority is whenever you kill scuttle crab, it gives you back so much mana that I don't even need my blue buff right now. I can just go back for another gank. Kennen still has his flash, so I don't think we're actually going to get the kill here. I just wanted to get a little bit of pressure on him, hit him with some autos in an E. Now I got a word over by Trundle's by the throat to his raptor camps, and I saw he's actually coming mid right now. I knew he was either going mid or he's going into my jungle, so I'm being a little bit careful. I was waiting for him to go get Trundle, and since he didn't go mid immediately, I waited for my Q to be back up so I could go into my jungle invisible. Sure enough, I find him in here. He's mad that I've been ganking Kennen. Plus, he didn't get to fight me on bot side scuttle since I did red mid scuttle gank. Plus, I got Gragas flash. I'm getting off way more pressure than he is right now. I went ahead and just smited to kill the wolves because I wanted to get level 3. I figured Trundle's still in the area, but then I see him run away with my ward that I had. The reason why Trundle can't stay and fight me for my blue buff is because my mid lane has Kennen pushed in because I've been pressuring mid. Plus, Riven had Gragas pushed to his turret because of that pressure I gave top lane. So since my top lane and mid lane had more pressure than Trundle's top lane and mid lane, if he would have stayed for this, he most likely would have gotten pincered and killed. Not to mention, since I've already took the scuttle crab for over here, it gives us vision to see where he's going and if he's coming. It also gives my teammates a speed up to help chase him down. So really everything is playing in my favor here. A really smart pathing and jungling. This is very common whenever you are playing jungle. 90% of the time, it's very obvious which jungler can 1v1 the other one. And in this case, it's very obvious Trundle can 1v1 me. Here, Gragas uses his belly flop, so it's a good time for me to go in. I already know his flash is down, so I just auto attack W. And he doesn't have either one of his escapes, so it's a free kill. Riven did a good job baiting that out. That was also really bad on Gragas doing that. I guess he felt safe because he had a really big minion wave, and he was just going to try to shove Riven in. He didn't anticipate me coming back so soon. And now I don't have that much CS, but I don't believe Trundle has that much more CS than me. After you get the kill, you want to try to help your laner shove it in, especially if you have a big wave, because you don't want the enemy top laner to get all that gold and experience. With all these ganks, you might be thinking, but you haven't gotten very many camps. But if you look at it, I've gotten my red buff, I've gotten a scuttle, I got my wolves, I got my blue, and I got my Gromp. The only 2 camps I haven't taken are my raptors and my golems, which most junglers don't typically take in the early game anyway. So in reality, I've actually have jungled quite a bit, and I've gotten off a lot of jungle pressure with my jungle route because I haven't had to fuss around with, oh, now I'm fighting the enemy jungler, or oh, now I'm having to run away from the enemy jungler. That's the whole concept of this route, is general avoidance and putting pressure on the map where you know you can win the fights. I saw Trundle and enemy bot lane go for this scuttle crab that just spawned in on the right side if you were paying attention to the minimap. I didn't go for it because I see Brand and Kai'Sa hanging out over there. Plus Trundle is in base right now, so if I did go for it, I would have to deal with Kennen collapsing on me. That's another thing you need to keep in mind as a jungler. Even if you can, let's pretend I could 1v1 Trundle. Can you get the scuttle crab without the enemies collapsing on you? And in this case, Trundle was in base, so the answer is no. Even if I was a super fed Lee Sin right now, I couldn't go take that scuttle crab from Trundle because Kennen would collapse on me. I'd have to deal with Bran and I'd just end up dying. Another pro tip for you guys, whenever you do want to go for a scuttle crab, you want to clear out your opposite side jungle to where the scuttle crab is. So if the scuttle crab's spawning on the right, you want to clear out your left side jungle. For example, right now, my blue buff and Gromp are gone and my wolves literally just spawned in. So if I did go for scuttle and I saw Trundle wasn't going for, I could take it. And then if he went in my jungle, he would have nothing to counter me with. So even if I could 1v1 him and he's like, oh, I can't go for that, because let's pretend Tryndamere was in lane, then he would most likely go into my jungle on the upper left side and try to clear it. But since I'd already cleared it before the scuttle crab, since the scuttle crab turns gray a minute before it's about to spawn in, I could have countered his counter before it even happened. That's pretty much the best advice I can give you guys in this meta of scuttle crabs and early gank pressure. This whole strategy relies on being a champion who can gank at level 2. So whether you're Kindred, Graves, Twitch, Xin Zhao, Lee Sin, Pantheon, junglers that have some sort of gap closer and or are ranged and can use red buff properly. Picking these kind of champions is key if you want to climb and carry as a jungler, because getting that red buff and ganking level 2 puts out so much pressure, you'll at least blow a flash if not get a kill, which will set up an easy scuttle crab and domination on the map. We did just kill them both mid, the jungler and mid laner, so I feel safe taking his blue buff. I saw it spawned in. Whenever it turns yellow, that's 20 seconds. When it turns gray, that's a minute or less. Like I said, yellow is 20 seconds or less. So I saw it was coming up while we were fighting the mid, so right after we killed him, I just went ahead, took the blue buff. Now I'm going to come bot. It's already on the way. That's one nice thing about being in the enemy's jungle, is it puts you behind the enemy laners. All I have to do is walk down and I'm automatically behind them, which puts me in a really good spot since they have to walk past me to get away to their turret. If you look on the minimap right now, on the upper left side, you can see in the river that the scuttle crab is gray and it just turned yellow. So that means it'll be up in 20 seconds or less. That doesn't really give me enough time to do my red buff and get over there. But since Trundle's bot lane, I'm not too worried about it. I feel like he's just going to keep pressuring. So I kind of want to get this cleared out just in case I do want to go for scuttle. He won't have anything to take. Also, this gives me time to get some extra golden experience, since it's going to take Trundle and Bran a little bit to actually push up into Heimerdinger's and Shen's turret. Looking on the minimap right now, I can see Bran and Trundle kept continuously pushing up. Trundle just disappeared. I thought he was coming for me, and then I just realized he was warding. And now 𝐒𝐿𝐴 just appeared. So I need to get this red buff and get over there immediately. Fighting underneath your turret is a very easy thing to do. Good thing Shen had Hourglass. Now the enemies are in a very bad spot. I'm just going to run them down. And I don't think they even know I'm here. 𝐒𝐿𝐴 especially did. I just smited, autoed her, and I'm going to try to chase down the Bran. If I had tier 2 boots, I could do it, but since he has tier 2 boots, there's no way. Right now, I am potentially sacrificing Scuttle Crab. I'm not too concerned. Getting a whole wave, a kill, and saving my teammates is by far more important. But something worth mentioning is, since I did take my golems and red buff, if for some reason I did end up going for the Scuttle Crab, it would have been a really smart choice, because then Trundle would have nothing to take on my side. But since the enemies did go for the dive, it would have been a bad choice for me to go for Scuttle Crab at that point. Trundle did die in that fight, so there's no way he could get the Scuttle Crab. Also, I do see him now near his red buff. Tryndamere got us some good vision. That pressure I gave Tryndamere in the early game is really allowing him to blossom. If you don't give Tryndamere mid lane any pressure in the earlier mid game, he just gets shoved under turret and has zero pressure. So here they are fighting in the mid lane. They haven't taken Scuttle yet. The issue is Kennen and Trundle are both still alive. Kennen doesn't have ult, but I can't really fight both of them. Since Kennen stayed in the river and they have a pink ward here, I couldn't really take that. If that pink ward wasn't there and if Kennen wasn't there, I would have just gone for the kill on Trundle instead. Another thing you're going to need to master if you want to carry as a jungler is pay attention to your minimap nonstop and to the kill feed. The kill feed should be right above your minimap, and your minimap is right below your kill feed. Look at both of those as much as you can every couple of seconds. So whenever I went for Trundle's red buff right there, I saw that he was top lane fighting Tryndamere, so by me going for red buff, I knew no one would be there to stop me, and I knew Tryndamere was winning that fight anyways because he's so far ahead. Also, even if I had missed him fighting Tryndamere there, I would have seen the kill feed and saw Trundle was dead, which would allow me to take his red buff for free. The only reason why I even knew his red buff was coming up is because I was looking on the minimap, saw it was great a little bit ago, and then it turned yellow, so I knew it was going to be up in 20 seconds or less. By managing my resources in time properly, I'm not only putting myself ahead, but putting the enemy jungler very far behind. You might be wondering in this game why I went for Warrior. I don't have anyone. You might be wondering in this game why I went for Warrior. The reason why I went for Warrior in this game is because I've been testing out AD Twitch builds. because his E got a massive AD ratio buff to like 2.1, so 210% of your maximum AD if you have all of your stacks on. So I figured it was a good time to try, and it actually is pretty stout. If on your first back you have 1,100 gold, it's actually better to go for the serrated dirk and just rush Duskblade as soon as possible. But if you don't have enough gold for that, just go for your red or blue smite. If you like the enemy jungler is going to be counter jungling you and 1v1ing you, so on that Kha'Zix or Rengar, you should probably go for red smite. Since it was a Trundle, and I know Trundles like to try to 1v1 you in the early game, that's why I did go for the red smite. One thing I want to mention is this was played in high elo. All these players are high diamond, masters, and challenger players. The account I'm playing on is actually only D4, but the other day I played against a 900 LP challenger player in rank because I have like an 80% win rate overall. So don't think that what I did is only possible because I was smurfing, because I wasn't smurfing. It was just general game knowledge and utilizing my minimap to its fullest to abuse the enemy jungler and his laners. Also to avoid early 1v1s. Playing Twitch by no means is an advantage. You could easily utilize this same strategy with any other jungler that uses level 2 red buff for ganks. If you guys are interested in watching me live, head over to twitch.tv/KingStix. I do live stream fairly consistently. I try to do it every day or every other day, so just drop a follow, keep an eye out for that. Anyways, if you guys did enjoy this video and it helped you out, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Practice makes perfect. Go out there and practice looking on your minimap, kill feeds, and playing off of the scuttle crabs, level 2 junglers that feed off of red buff as well. Drop those dank ass tank junglers like Sejuani and Rammus. You'll thank me later. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. My name is KingStix, and I'll catch you guys out there on the Rift.
Yeah.